All right, so we're going to jump right back into the remaining speakers we have for this Project 2025 Juneteenth event. The official title, The Political Chess Game for Power from Juneteenth to Project 2025. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, then we're going to keep it going. Mshinda Nyofu is Chair, National Association of Kawaida, my bad, organizations. Houston, a cultural and social change organization. Brother Mshinda is an activist educator who teaches African American studies and world history in A-Leaf ISD. He is also a, let's say ED doctoral? Education. He is also an EDD, doctoral candidate in educational leadership for change at Fielding Graduate University. He earned his MS in community counseling psychology at Springfield College and his BA degree in political science and Africana studies at San Diego State University. Additionally, he is the co-founder of the Missouri City Area Kwanzaa Community Celebration and is an instructor of the Kawaida Rites of Passage Program, an African-centered manhood development program for Black males. On that note, I introduce to you Brother Mshinda.
All right, Barigani, thank you very much to Brother Tamani for convening us for this and doing the research too, giving us some background on this very important issue. And we know that it has the potential to negatively impact our communities. Just make that look. You know, I'm loud. I can be loud. I'm a teacher, so I have to be loud. So even though housing is not my forte, education is, but still we can learn about things. So it was good, just learning a little bit about what HUD does. So I just had to actually go on their website and find out what does HUD do, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So according to their website is HUD.gov, so you can go and look at this yourself. So these are just some of the services, right? So they provide, as they say, housing choice vouchers. So we know that's big, right? The Section 8 vouchers to support those low-income people that need housing, and apartment searches. So you can go online and look at various apartment dwellings, housing counseling. That's big. Property and unit inspection, right? Avoiding foreclosure. We know that's a big deal, particularly coming out of the housing bubble bursting, right when Obama came on the scene, President Obama came on the scene, and Black people's wealth plummeted, right? So we know avoiding foreclosure is a big deal for us. But then also buying a home, right? There's so many of us that are homeless. There's so many of us that, and you too, a lot of times when we think about homelessness, many of us think about just adults. Well, I'm a teacher, so we have to think about the unhoused youth and young people that are unhoused, right? They might be in foster homes, what have you, or we might think everyone's going home to a family or maybe two-parent homes where they're not allowed to learn doing that. And so that's an issue too, just keeping our minds focused on our young people when we talk about housing, displacement of housing. So housing improvements, home improvements, this is also what HUD offers. Senior citizen assistance, so we know that's big for our seniors as they're going into the sunshine of their life. So where are they going to stay if they don't have family? What if they don't have family? So they need assistance, right? Veterans, I'm a veteran myself. So veterans benefits and assistance. My understanding is that on their website, at least, HUD says that HUD and the VA made $78 million available for homeless veterans. All right, and so that's big. Now, potentially, could that be cut? If there's a new administration that comes in and implements this Project 2025 idea. So those are just some of the things that the services that HUD says that it does on its website. For us particularly, we know this is a big issue. All the issues are big, right? All the departments are big. But we know housing, but also don't forget the urban development part. Because we know in our community, just say any Black community USA, what's happening? The gentrification, right? So that's a big issue too. And so I'm gonna put forth some ideas that, I think that we can do in terms of, we know what's being planned, but how do we do a counter plan, if you will? Or how do we take the initiative, right? And if we wanna play defense, and if you, in sports, you have to play defense, but also one of the best defenses is to have a good offense, right? To stymie that defense. So, and so if we, obviously right now, we know we talk about these two political parties. If the Republicans get in, if Trump wins, well, it's nothing, it's not new. They're telling us up front, right, what they are planning to do. And so, well, we already know this history, particularly from him, right? Because we know in 1975, he and his father, they were sued by the Justice Department, by the way, for what? Racial housing discrimination against Black people in New York City. Right, and so they had to settle that suit. So we know it. Did his mindset towards Black people change because he's hugging rappers and stuff like that? I don't think so. So we understand, right? It's a farce, you know, those picture photo ops and things like that, right? What Tamani has brought to us, that's the real deal. That's what's really going. You know, that's what's below the surface. So, and I do want you to just put forth some of the changes that Tamani had. I'm just going to read what he had put out because I mean it's here, right? And some of the proposed changes, if they do find themselves back in the Oval Office, some of the most egregious proposed departmental changes. So one is the Department of Housing and Urban Development will be reinvented, and existing work requirements will be strengthened to move people towards self-sufficiency. So I was having a conversation with a friend about self-sufficiency, and this is not something new. We were just having a conversation about the Shrine of Black Madonna. Well, we can talk about the Nation of Islam. We can talk about others, organizational groups from the Black Power movement. We've always talked about self-sufficiency, doing for ourselves, self-determination, which I believe. The challenge has been, and also building independent institutions too, right? So it's not, we don't need them to have to tell us that. We've done that, and we promoted that. The challenge is always the capacity, to grow the capacity to be able to do it. And then once we do it, to sustain it. That's been our challenge. And also the funding to the capital to do it, but not the wherewithal, right? Not the insight in the far future focused thinking about it. Another one of the more egregious changes that may occur, all fair housing regulations designed to further equity and reduce discrimination will be repealed. So we know that's in line with what's already happening at the college and university, with DEI, tackling all types of things, right? But that's another one of the challenges. We have the right as people, as citizens, I mean, we are legally citizens in this country, right? So we have the right to the benefits of everything that this country has to offer. So we have to fight and hold on to what we gain, but we also, and that's part of the problem too. Too many of us think that because we fought and won something in one generation, that's going to be there the next generation. That's not what Francis told us. He said each generation has to identify their mission and fulfill it with truth. So we have to pass that teaching down. Each generation has to be taught first. If they're not taught, then onus is on us, those adults, those of us who consider ourselves conscious about these issues. So, and then the last one here is proposed changes to HUD that will make housing assistance more difficult for low-income individuals to access. So certainly they want to make it more difficult, right? They've always wanted to slow our progress. Every time we take 2 steps forward in terms of social gains in the community or in this country, they've always devised a plan, devised a, I teach African American studies, one is interesting, compromises. I talk about all the compromises throughout U.S. history that the established order has created. Even with the 13th Amendment, as we're approaching Juneteenth, the compromise in that was what? Okay, 13th Amendment, that there enslavement is abolished, but then there's a clause about if you become a felon, you come right back to the postal status of enslavement. So it's always a compromise even within the law, right? So there's no benign effect that, you know, they're not doing anything benevolent for us. So we understand that they're always trying to make it difficult for us to rise and move forward. So that's the challenge. We just have to know. We should know that by now. How long we been there? We should know that by now, that's the challenge, right? So, existing research shows that housing vouchers reduce homelessness, housing instability, and improves numerous outcomes for children and vouchers. So that's something we have to fight for. It's not something that people should be made to feel stigmatized about, because that's our tax dollars going into the poor people. Now, one of the things that we need to say, right? If this is one of the challenges. This is what self-determination means too. To name ourselves, pray for ourselves, and to speak for ourselves. So even though this document, some people might say, well, you know what, there might be some things that here we agree on. No. What do we agree on based on what we say, not with what they say? And if it just happens to have some similarity, okay. But it's not what they say, it's what we say. That's what self-determination is, right? Put your chocolate. So, but the voucher program, that needs to be maintained for those that actually generally need it. And for those that might abuse it, we can't say that there are not people that abuse it, and so they had to be weeded out, right? That's all. That's what you do, right? Because as a matter of fact, they're taking advantage of some people that actually do need it. And so we just have to do that. But for the majority of people, I don't know about evidence that the majority of people use it or abusing it or violating it. So that's something, so, you know, we have to outright give up, we have to fight for that, because that's our tax dollars. One of the things I like, many of you maybe have seen Representative Ayanna Presley. Has anyone seen that? So she's come out, she's sounded alarm. She's the only congressional Black Caucus or member or congressional member that I'm aware of, maybe you're aware of some others, that have actually said something about this in a committee hearing a couple of weeks ago. So that's kudos on her part. But now it's the galvanizing part. And again, I want to say something to brothers and minors, because I hadn't heard about it until you brought it up and started, you know, pulling people together to talk about it, learn more about it. But what can we do here? Because I'm thinking that we need a top-down and bottom-up approach, right, to meet in the middle in terms of organizing and galvanizing about this. So let's think about the possibilities of, we know that the city of Houston has a general plan. So even though, again, this is not my forte of education, but somebody's in housing, somebody's in urban development, that perhaps we can get, find out, maybe they're already doing it. In other words, keeping tabs on when these issues come to the city council, all right? And have them come make reports, or we go to their organizations. And so that could be the Black Houston Real Estate Association. I have never been to their group, but if they exist, we need to call them, ask them, you know, are y'all following the general plan of the city of Houston? That could be something, right? And who knows where it could go from there. The National League of Cities, you know, so, and then perhaps we can really see if there's a national approach to preventing some of these issues, right? The National League of Cities, so we can contact them and find out, you know, again, what's going on nationally. You know, what cities are really maybe mounting a defense towards this, and also gentrification too. So these are just some of the things. Some of the data I was able to find from 2015 to 2021 here in Harris County, the rent increased 29%. However, wages increased only 23%. So it's not keeping up, right? So people have less money. And this is according to a Rice University study. And also for Princeton University Eviction Lab also have filings in the region for evictions were up 41% higher than the area in Hovis, like 2020. Right, so we know we have challenges in housing, and so perhaps these are some of the things that we can do to try to, you know, challenge those and step up to the plate for those things. So again, maybe contact the National League of Cities, find out what they're doing nationally. Black Real Estate Group here in Houston. It's the Black Houston Real Estate Association, and find out what they're doing. Check with the Houston City Council meetings, their general plan in terms of housing and urban developments, right? Because this is a strategic plan that's already planned out for years in the future, right? So we need to know what that is. But also those of us that might live in Missouri City, in Sugar Land, Pearland, and surrounding cities, right? So again, I want to say it's something, just, you know, just a few brief ideas and thoughts that we perhaps, you know, share, and how we can, yes, understand what this initiative is. Yes, we need to put together defense mechanisms against it, but also at the same time, simultaneously, we should be thinking about what is our initiative, what is our offensive game plan, And maybe someone is out there has already started something. So if that's us right here, then just build on it and then go out there into the community. So I want to say the solid sound, brother Tamani again, and all of you for listening, solid sound.
Real quick, brother, I didn't think about, housing being an issue when it comes to, our youth. Have you found your experience as an educator that housing is an issue for our young people?
You want me to say it all or what they said?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I know that it is because I don't know specifically, I teach high school now, and particularly for, for higher students, for high school students. I know that it is, I know that it exists. I don't know to what level, because that's, as a matter of fact, that's one thing that students are, get scapegoated for, or stigmatized for, right? For not having housing or place to go to. So a lot of times, you're not gonna find that out. You might find out with a counselor, or if there's some issue, right? If you have a good, relationship with the parent and the guardian, if you have it. But let's say, yes, it does exist. And there is, it's escaping me now, there are organizations, and I think Rice, Kendall Institute did, a study about that here in the Houston region. So let's check them out. It's the Kinder Institute, right? Is that the name of it? Yeah, but Rice University, they have a study on it, yes, on unhoused youth in the Houston region.
All right, thank you, brother. All right, in keeping with our theme of giving a solution after every speaker, we are on solution number 4. The first one is learning about 6 pillars of empowerment. I will put that show on the Facebook page. Second one is learning about grassroots politics. Third one is becoming a member. Fourth one is subscribing to our newsletter, which you can do on our website at grow, GROW, 4care.org, grow, 4care. And grow and care are acronyms. Grow is generating real opportunities to win, and care is community action results in power. So when you put them together, we're generating real opportunities to win for community, for action, for results, for empowerment. Grow4care.org. Subscribe to our newsletter to learn more about what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, and most importantly, why you need to be a part of it. 120 organizations came together to create Project 2025. We got to do the same thing, put our differences aside, create an intelligent response, build in the grassroots and the shadows, and build a nation within this nation. I'm going to introduce our next speaker.